I want to start by asking you something. For example, those little habits you have before falling asleep every night. Have you ever thought about or noticed how they create a huge transformation in your skin in the morning? Essentially, rejuvenation, smoothness, and radiance don't come from expensive procedures. Rather, they arise from the right conditions we provide for ourselves, especially in the darkness of night. This video will show you the most effective nighttime rituals that transform your skin while you sleep, step by step, so you can feel a noticeable change in just a few days. If you like, let's start revealing your skin's true potential together right now. 1. Never forget to remove your makeup. I want to start with this fact. Leaving our makeup on our faces overnight is one of the most invisible acts of sabotage that disrupts our skin's natural balance. Because when you think about it, how will the pores close? How will the sebum balance be disrupted? Or how will cell renewal ever work at the speed it should? Yet, at night, it sets up its own repair laboratory, and unfortunately, when it cannot find a clean surface during this process, the result is a very dull complexion, or at the same time, a noticeable appearance of wrinkles. Of course, not removing makeup actually systematically weakens our skin's ability to renew itself, breathe, and even expel toxins. And when we consider this situation in the long term, this neglect can almost double or even triple the rate of aging. At the same time, not completely removing makeup is not just an aesthetic choice. It is more fundamentally a basic necessity in terms of cellular health, because in reality, foundation, powder, mascara, or lipstick residue that accumulates on the surface of our skin, these are all things that cause stress. Naturally, over time, this inevitably leads to effects such as sagging, dullness, or discoloration. That's why it's essential that the products we use during cleansing are gentle yet effective, purifying our skin without stripping it and protecting our barrier. Remember that cleansed skin absorbs serums and creams much more easily. At the same time, I can say that this is like the reflection of a sense of discipline on our skin health. Because, as you know, even if you are tired at the end of the day, removing your makeup is a very concrete sign of the value you place on yourself. The human mind often says, "It won't hurt to do it just this once," but the skin never forgives this and pays the price for every act of neglect. This price becomes visible years later. For this reason, makeup removal is not a task that can be postponed. Since it is a decision that determines our future facial features, regular cleansing will also be one of the most effective ways to maintain pore tightness. Also, consider this. When we rest our face on the pillow at night, makeup residue doesn't just stay on our skin. It transfers to the pillow, then back to the skin, and back again. This cycle creates an ideal environment for acne, blackheads, and inflammation. However, if the skin were completely free of makeup, it would naturally experience much less irritation even when in contact with the pillow and would look much calmer in the morning. So this small but equally effective difference, when applied regularly, creates a very noticeable improvement in the overall texture of our face. By the way, unfortunately, only 1 in 5 people who watch my videos subscribe to my channel. This, of course, saddens me greatly, because if you want to change this situation, you can do me a huge favor by clicking on the bottom right corner of the screen, and we won't lose touch with each other again. 2. Sleeping in a dark room without light. Now, I want to mention that sleeping in a completely dark environment at night is one of the most fundamental regulators of our skin. Think about it. Light, especially artificial lighting that persists even at low levels, suppresses melatonin production. Melatonin is not just a sleep hormone, it is also the main driver of the repair cycle that our skin cells perform at night. When this hormone is not secreted sufficiently, our natural cell renewal slows down, our collagen synthesis decreases, or our face looks much more tired and dull in the morning. However, sleeping in a dark room allows our skin to take full advantage of this biological renewal opportunity. In addition, turning off the lights allows the antioxidant defense that fights free radicals to work much more effectively. This is because the body reduces stress hormones during deep sleep, accelerating the process that gives the skin its repairing power. But dim or bright light disrupts hormone balance, causing cortisol levels to rise. When cortisol increases, inflammation is triggered in the skin. This leads to the appearance of fine lines, darkening of spots, and much faster aging of our skin. The power of a dark room becomes clear here. Our skin can switch to renewal because it stops fighting. In addition, a dark room while sleeping offers significant advantages not only for our skin, but also for the relaxation of our facial muscles. This is because the brain can enter deeper sleep phases in the absence of light. This deep sleep reduces microtension in our facial muscles, allowing us to wake up in the morning feeling much more rested and with a smoother facial expression. Furthermore, effects such as reduced puffiness around the eyes and a less tired appearance are entirely the result of biological relaxation. When sleep quality improves, the skin's moisture retention capacity naturally increases. A dark environment reduces involuntary facial muscle movements throughout the night. This is because without light stimulation, our brain enters a more stable state of rest. This allows micro-expressions in areas such as the forehead and between the eyebrows to decrease much more comfortably during sleep. Thus, it is quite possible to achieve a smoother forehead, a more relaxed eye area, and a relaxed face just by sleeping. 3. Gently cleanse your face with warm water. Think of gentle cleansing with warm water as one of the first steps in initiating your skin's nighttime repair cycle. Warm water dissolves the sebum layer that accumulates on the surface, allowing the pores to open much more easily. This simple step facilitates your skin's ability to breathe and prepares the ground for subsequent skincare products to be absorbed much more effectively. Cold water tightens pores but can trap dirt inside. Excessively hot water weakens the barrier, leading to dryness. However, lukewarm water is the ideal temperature that respects our skin's natural balance. Therefore, the balance provided by lukewarm water is important not only for cleansing, but also for the renewal that our cells undergo throughout the night. As many of you know, our skin increases collagen synthesis, repairs microscopic damage, and regulates moisture levels while we sleep. A clean face is like providing a perfectly prepared workspace in a laboratory for this process to begin. When you fall asleep with a dirty or makeup-covered face, this repair becomes very difficult. A duller, tighter, and more worn-out appearance in the morning is inevitable. However, gentle cleansing also helps protect our skin barrier. Aggressive washing or very hot water disrupts the lipid layer. This disruption leads to both moisture loss and vulnerability to external factors. Gentle cleansing with lukewarm water, on the other hand, soothes the skin, reduces redness, and removes the stress accumulated during the day from our face. The skin looks clearer and becomes much more receptive to nighttime care products. Ultimately, realistically speaking, I believe that gently cleansing our face with lukewarm water is the starting point for the major transformation our skin undergoes throughout the night. 4. Avoid excessively hot rooms. Here's the reality. If the room you're in at night is too hot, it silently draws away the moisture your skin needs most, because hot air accelerates transepidermal water loss, weakening the skin barrier. As the barrier weakens, the skin wakes up drier, tighter, and duller in the morning. However, the natural renewal rhythm is at its highest during sleep, and a balanced ambient temperature is necessary for this rhythm to function healthily. Excessive heat creates an invisible barrier to this biological rhythm and reduces its repair capacity. In fact, a warm room also increases sweating throughout the night. This sweating can lead to irritation, redness, and sensitivity as it disrupts the natural oil barrier on the skin's surface. Especially in dry or sensitive skin types, this situation creates a more noticeable flaking and tightness sensation the next day, significantly reducing the effectiveness of skincare. Sleeping at a balanced temperature throughout the night preserves the skin's moisture retention capacity and provides a smoother surface in the morning. This simple habit is a much more powerful step in delaying the signs of aging than you might think. Of course, it must also be said that another harm of excessively hot rooms is that they disrupt the deep phases of sleep, because the brain does not relax in a very hot environment and has difficulty entering deep sleep. When deep sleep is not achieved, melatonin secretion decreases, which disrupts the most critical stages of skin repair. So, a hot room not only disrupts your sleep quality, it also slows down processes such as collagen production, cell renewal, and damage repair that your skin performs throughout the night. As a result, you will definitely see a more tired face when you look in the mirror in the morning. In addition, high temperatures unfortunately cause the facial muscles to tense up involuntarily because the body cannot find comfort in a hot environment and the muscles change position more frequently with micro movements. This situation paves the way for lines to become more pronounced more quickly, especially in areas with intense facial expressions such as the forehead and around the eyes. Keeping the room cool helps the muscles relax, the facial features rest, and the skin look much softer in the morning. The effect is particularly noticeable when done regularly. Of course, sleeping in a cool environment balances hormones and reduces inflammation levels, because when body temperature drops, stress hormones recede, and the skin begins to calm down. This calming effect contributes to a reduction in redness, more balanced-looking pores, and a more even overall skin tone. Therefore, avoiding a hot room is not only a matter of comfort, but also a strategic choice for skin youthfulness. Ultimately, keeping your sleeping environment cool at night is one of the most practical yet effective rules for non-surgical rejuvenation. When the room temperature is balanced, the skin neither loses moisture nor renews itself better, and you wake up in the morning with a much more rested glow. This small change even slows down the aging process on your face to a noticeable degree over the years. Avoiding a warm room throughout the night is one of the simplest yet most powerful gifts we can give our skin. 5. Always do a 2-step cleansing routine. Before starting this very important point, let me first state that a 2-step cleansing routine is one of the most effective nighttime rituals that cleanses the skin not only superficially but also deeply. Because cleaning the makeup, sunscreen, sebum, and dirt that has accumulated throughout the day with a single product is often not enough. The oil-based cleanser used in the first step gently dissolves makeup and oil-soluble residues, removing the surface load. This first step opens the necessary first door for the pores to breathe. Then, the water-based cleanser comes into play, cleansing all remaining residues without disrupting the skin's natural balance. Essentially, this method makes a noticeable difference, especially for those experiencing clogged pores, blackhead formation, and dull skin, because the oil accumulated in the pores oxidizes when it comes into contact with oxygen, turning into blackheads. The 2-step cleansing process prevents this oxidation process from starting and ensures that the pores appear tighter, cleaner, and clearer. Additionally, this deep cleansing allows for increased effectiveness of serums and creams applied in subsequent steps. The products begin to work in the deeper layers of the skin rather than just on the surface. Of course, in general, this habit also positively affects the skin's barrier function, because using 2 gentle steps instead of aggressive cleansing reduces the risk of irritation. Trying to remove all residues with a single powerful cleanser often causes dryness, redness, and sensitivity. However, a 2-step cleansing routine is both more effective and gentler. This gentleness protects the skin barrier, reduces moisture loss, and ensures the cleansing process is completed perfectly and flawlessly without disrupting the skin's natural protective layer. Furthermore, if proper cleansing is not performed during nighttime care, even the most expensive active ingredients cannot deliver the desired performance. Because as long as residues remain on the skin's surface, the products cannot penetrate deeply. Double cleansing creates a professional foundation that prepares the skin for a new phase of care. When applied regularly, this method makes the skin's texture smoother, its tone more even, and its overall appearance more vibrant. This cleansing even strengthens the skin's own renewal rhythm. The most significant aspect is the reduction in inflammation. As many of us know, dirt and sebum buildup trigger acne and redness. When pores are cleansed in 2 stages every night, the inflammatory load on the skin decreases significantly. This results in calmer skin and contributes to a less puffy, softer appearance in the morning. Those who use it regularly notice a visible brightening effect within just a few weeks. Ultimately, double cleansing is the backbone of nighttime skincare. It not only cleanses the skin, but also consciously prepares it for the renewal process. This method ensures the skin is deeply cleansed and ready to absorb skincare products with maximum efficacy. In the long term, it provides a clearer, younger, and more balanced skin appearance. In other words, double cleansing is not just a routine. It is like the silent architect of the face you want to see in the mirror in the morning. 6. It is good to increase the humidity level in the room. Something many of us actually neglect is that one of the things the skin needs most during the night is a balanced humidity environment, because during sleep, body temperature rises slightly, and this natural process accelerates water evaporation from the skin's surface. When room humidity is low, this evaporation increases significantly, and the skin feels noticeably drier by morning. Dry skin becomes dull, and fine lines become temporarily more noticeable. However, an ideal humidity level prevents the skin from losing water throughout the night and allows you to wake up with a plumper, brighter, and more rested face. Of course, there is also this fact. Properly adjusting the humidity level plays a critical role in protecting the skin barrier, as the barrier is highly sensitive to environmental conditions. Dry air weakens the barrier, triggering problems such as redness, sensitivity, and flaking. Applying moisturizer is certainly important. However, when the humidity in the room is low, even moisturizer cannot work to its full potential. When there is sufficient humidity in the environment, all the products you use are better absorbed by the skin, and the effect of your nighttime skincare routine doubles. There is a common misconception. Many people attribute the tightness, stiffness, or slight burning sensation on their face in the morning to dry skin. However, most of the time the problem is not just skin type, but the dryness of the sleeping environment. When the humidity in the room is increased, the amount of water lost by the skin during the night dramatically decreases. This results in softer skin texture, a calmer facial expression, and a more even tone in the morning. Plumping of the skin is not just a cosmetic effect, it is a sign that the cells are working more efficiently. Furthermore, devices used during sleep to increase humidity, aromatherapy diffusers, or even simple methods that increase water evaporation in the room make a noticeable difference in the overall health of the skin. This balance of moisture significantly reduces irritation, especially for those using retinol, acids, or strong active ingredients. This is because these active ingredients, when combined with dry air, put more stress on the skin. A moist environment, on the other hand, provides therapeutic calm and increases the skin's recovery speed. In addition to all this, moisture balance is a very powerful defense against the visible signs of aging, because well-moisturized skin reflects light more evenly and facial features appear softer. When combined with deep sleep, the skin's ability to renew itself throughout the night is also strengthened. The fact that the skin looks younger in the morning is not actually a miracle of skincare products, but rather the silent result of the right moisture conditions. 7. Always use cream around the eyes. I would like to emphasize that using eye cream at night is one of the most strategic investments you can make for the thinnest and fastest aging area of the face, because the eye area is poor in oil glands and is constantly in motion throughout the day due to facial expressions. This sensitive area needs deep hydration, intensive care, and targeted ingredients throughout the night. Eye cream nourishes this delicate skin and prepares it for the repair cycle, resulting in a brighter and more rested appearance in the morning. Of course, regular application creates a powerful barrier that reduces the appearance of fine lines and dryness. For example, these creams typically contain peptides, caffeine, hyaluronic acid, retinol derivatives, or antioxidants. These ingredients work throughout the night to reduce puffiness and support collagen synthesis. Peptides, in particular, contribute significantly to a firmer-looking eye area over time by sending signals that strengthen skin-building blocks. Caffeine, on the other hand, improves microcirculation, thereby reducing the appearance of dark circles. Of course, this is why night cream does more than just hydrate. It also initiates a biological repair process. I would also like to mention that applying eye cream is an important step in the emotional aspect of skincare, as this small ritual helps erase the day's stress from your face. The gentle massage during application accelerates lymphatic drainage and reduces morning puffiness by dispersing accumulated fluid in the area. This massage also relaxes the eye muscles and resolves the microtension left by facial expressions throughout the day. This effect is the invisible mechanism behind having a more vibrant expression in the morning. In addition, the eye area is a region that should not be considered separately from the rest of the skincare routine, as it is one of the most decisive factors in the perception of youthfulness in the face. Lines between the eyebrows, shadows under the eyes, and crow's feet can make a person look more tired than they are. A good eye cream used at night helps these effects fade over time. This improvement creates a noticeable feeling of freshness in the overall facial appearance. In fact, there is another reality. Due to the delicate nature of this area, the effects of regular care are felt very quickly. Within just a few nights, a smoother texture, a more hydrated surface, and a brighter appearance emerge. In the long term, the rate at which fine lines deepen slows down, and the eye area becomes much more resilient. This resilience is one of the most valuable results of anti-aging care. So, in conclusion, using an eye cream is an indispensable part of your nighttime routine. It provides targeted and deep support to the most sensitive area of your face. This small but impressive step ensures you wake up in the morning with a younger, fresher, and more rested look. The most reliable way to keep the eye area youthful without surgery is this disciplined and conscious nightly routine. 8. Change your pillowcase frequently. As many of us know, pillowcases silently absorb the oil, sweat, makeup residue, and environmental dirt that accumulates on your face throughout the day. When you sleep at night, they bring all this buildup back into contact with your skin. This invisible cycle creates an ideal environment for clogged pores, blackheads, and acne formation. Regularly changing your pillowcase stops this micro-contamination your skin is exposed to throughout the night and allows your face to renew itself in a cleaner, clearer way. This simple step makes a dramatic difference, especially for sensitive and oily skin. Of course, there's another factor. The residue that accumulates on the pillow surface not only creates microbial contamination, but also increases skin inflammation with oxidized oil layers. This inflammation triggers issues like redness and irritation. A clean pillowcase helps calm the skin, allows nighttime skincare products to work more effectively, and protects sensitive areas on the surface. This is precisely why many people notice their face looks more relaxed in the morning when they sleep on a new pillowcase. In addition, the habit of changing pillowcases regularly also improves skin texture quality, as a dirty pillowcase constantly rubs against the face, causing micro-irritation. This friction increases sensitivity in thin skin, especially in side sleepers, and can deepen lines. A clean and soft pillowcase reduces this friction effect, protects the skin's barrier, and supports the natural renewal processes that occur during sleep. This way, you wake up with smoother skin in the morning. Consider this: when the pillowcase is clean, serums and creams used at night do not oxidize on the surface. Instead, they penetrate the skin more deeply and effectively. A dirty surface steals the effectiveness of care products and reduces their performance. A clean cover, on the other hand, increases the sustainability of your care routine, helps moisture stay on the surface longer, and ensures that products work stably throughout the night. Therefore, the pillowcase is an unnoticed but critical care tool. Furthermore, frequently changing pillowcases also creates a hypoallergenic environment, which reduces the likelihood of skin irritation and provides noticeable relief for those prone to redness. The freshness of the pillowcase can even contribute to reducing puffiness around the eyes, as the reduction in bacterial and environmental load allows the skin to appear calmer in the morning. This silent effect is a powerful factor that enhances the overall radiance of the face when applied regularly. So, making it a habit to change your pillowcase frequently is one of the most unexpected yet effective ways to keep your skin looking young without surgery. This small habit improves the quality of nighttime care, protects pores, enhances the power of care products, and provides a clean space for the skin's natural renewal process. One of the fundamental reasons for waking up with a cleaner, brighter, and smoother face in the morning is this simple but strategic choice. 9. Try to cut out products that dry out your skin too much. Products that excessively dry out the skin may seem to create a cleansing effect on the surface at first glance, but they are actually one of the most harmful habits that disrupt the skin's biological balance, because these types of products quickly break down the natural oil barrier. When this barrier is broken down, the skin becomes vulnerable to external factors, cannot retain moisture, and the renewal cycle that should occur during the night is disrupted. Dryness is not just a feeling, it is a chemical process that causes fine lines to become more pronounced, dullness to form, and the skin texture to become rough. That's why ditching drying products is one of the most strategic steps you can take for youthfulness. Let's not forget, excessive dryness triggers inflammation at the cellular level because the skin tries to protect itself by producing more sebum, and this cycle often leads to unbalanced oiliness. In other words, drying products can paradoxically cause more breakouts, even in people prone to acne. Maintaining the skin's natural oil balance keeps the pores stable and makes the tissue healthier. When this balance is achieved, the skin retains moisture better, uses nighttime care products more efficiently, and looks plumper in the morning. I should also mention that one of the biggest harms of drying products is barrier disruption. When the barrier is disrupted, the skin cannot protect itself against water loss, creating a constant feeling of tightness, burning and sensitivity. This sensitive skin may even react to nighttime skincare products. Powerful ingredients like retinol, acids, or vitamin C may start to cause a burning effect. However, when the barrier is balanced, all active ingredients work much more gently and effectively on the skin. Therefore, eliminating drying products is the most fundamental step in preparing the skin for these active ingredients. In addition, excessive dryness reduces the rate of renewal, not only on the surface but also in the deeper layers of the skin, because when the water content in the plasma decreases, the repair capacity of the cells weakens. Collagen synthesis and damage repair, which should occur overnight, progress more slowly on dry skin. This manifests itself in a more tired face in the morning, more pronounced fine lines, and a less radiant tone. Switching to non-drying, balancing products quickly restores this biological process to its former strength. When the skin is not dried out, unfortunately, the surface becomes much smoother, much more flexible, and more resilient. Because the natural oil barrier both retains moisture and protects the skin from external factors. This protection significantly slows down the signs of aging in the long term. When the skin's own renewal rhythm returns, the face you see in the mirror in the morning becomes calmer, brighter, and fresher. Of course, this is not just a result of changing products, but of adapting to the skin's internal biology. As you can see, eliminating products that excessively dry out the skin is the most critical strategy for nighttime care. Because youth begins with the barrier, using balancing, moisturizing, and gentle formulas repairs the skin's natural rhythm and strengthens the renewal cycle that occurs throughout the night. The path to achieving brighter, smoother, and younger-looking skin without surgery starts with this small but powerful decision. 10. Be sure to write down your stressful thoughts. Finally, I want to mention a practice that many of us don't really do. This is writing down the stressful thoughts in our minds before going to sleep at night. This is actually one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to break the biological chain that affects our youth. Because stress raises the cortisol hormone, and when cortisol rises naturally, our skin renewal rate also decreases. So I can say this: if our mind is not calm, our skin cannot repair itself, and our cells, which should rejuvenate during the night, are put on hold under the pressure of cortisol. In such a situation, putting thoughts down on paper naturally clears our minds and allows our bodies to transition into deep sleep more comfortably, reactivating the renewal mechanism. In other words, the act of writing actually deactivates our brain's problem-solving center. Because when the thoughts spinning around in our minds are expressed outwardly, our consciousness no longer feels compelled to hold on to them. This relief calms the nervous system, and in turn, our relaxed nervous system begins to significantly reduce inflammation in our skin. Of course, stress is one of our most invisible enemies, causing skin redness, dryness, or dullness. However, by writing down our thoughts, we begin to put the brakes on this enemy overnight. And let's not forget that when we perform this small ritual, our face looks much more peaceful in the morning. This is never a coincidence. At the same time, writing down our stressful thoughts also significantly reduces involuntary facial twitching throughout the night, as well as jaw tension, for example. Of course, when a person is stressed, they can naturally frown, clench their jaw, or keep their facial muscles quite tense even while sleeping. Over time, these micro-tensions contribute to the deepening of fine lines. Naturally, if our minds are not racing at night, our facial muscles can sleep much more comfortably. Let's not forget that this relaxation will definitely come back to us in the morning in the form of a much more relaxed forehead, a more rested eye area, or a softer expression. As a very brief summary of the 10 points I discussed in this video, I can actually tell you that these habits, which renew our skin throughout the night, are an invisible architect that preserves our youth. What I mean is this: every step we take, from cleansing to moisturizing, from mental calmness to proper sleep conditions, truly strengthens our skin's biological rhythm and is the real source of that glow we see when we look in the mirror in the morning. Of course, cleansing our face, keeping the environment balanced, and especially calming the mind is not just a skincare routine. It is a way of life that tells our cells it's time to renew. And truly, with these small but consistent habits, our skin will become much more resilient, brighter, and overall much younger. Let's not forget that managing the night properly essentially means managing the years gracefully. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you, and I truly want you to love yourself too.